Through the seasons, may I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. On this path, may I walk through my life. May I walk in old age. May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. May I walk, 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 may I walk in peace. May I walk in peace, in joy. May I walk in love. May I walk in gratitude. May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace, in stillness. May I walk in forgiveness. May I walk in loving kindness. May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. May I walk, 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 may I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace now. May you walk, always walk in peace. May we walk in peace. May I walk with loving kindness, in love. May you walk in joy, in love. May we walk.
Celebration Center for Spiritual Living. Just click on it. Yep, there we go. Good morning, Celebration Center for Spiritual Living. And welcome to another fabulous Sunday morning. So I have to admit, I wasn't here last week. Did y'all enjoy Nellie? I have not gotten to listen yet, but I've heard that she was amazing. But I have to admit that since I haven't been here for 2 weeks, I feel like I haven't seen y'all in like a million years. It's been a really long 2 weeks, y'all. A lot has happened. A lot has happened in my world, probably y'all's worlds. A lot has happened in our country. We're not going to talk about it. I'm just, acknowledging that life is moving forward and things are happening in our country. And I hope, the one thing I will say is that I hope you all voted, that voting is part of our spiritual authority. And so I'm not going to ask who you voted for or tell you who you should vote for, but just simply that voting is important. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Reverend Chris Alexander. I'm the senior minister here at Celebration Center for Spiritual Living. We are physically located in Falls Church, Virginia. However, we are serving the DC metro area and the entire globe. We have committed to offering everything that we do as either hybrid or online only. So no matter where you are joining us, you are a part of our beloved community, and we are so glad that you are with us today. If this is your first time here, welcome. We are so excited to have you here. And you can scan the QR code that will be popping up. And that QR code will take you to a guest card that you can fill out. And that guest card is just going to help us know who you are and how we can support you as a community. If you are here in the room, we also have guest cards over on the table for you. And welcome. We're so glad you're joining us today. Let's see, what else do I have today? We were doing a bit of running around this morning. Oh, yes. If you are joining us online, we invite you to say good morning. Just pop into the chat, tell us hello, what you're up to. It is super chilly here this morning. It was like 75 yesterday, and it was 45 this morning. So hopefully you're cozy and wrapped up in your pajamas and heated blanket. That's what I did my morning practice in, was all wrapped up in my heated blanket this morning. And just tell us good morning. Let us know what you're up to. And if you are in the room, we invite you to silence your cell phones, but don't turn them off. You're welcome to go online and just post into the chat if you would like. This morning, we are going to be continuing this journey of home together. I will be speaking on roots and wings. We have Irina Kurashevitz as our practitioner on platform. Let's give her a round of applause. And we have our music director, Lynn Hollyfield, in the house, offering us our amazing music today. Now, first and foremost, y'all, today is our annual meeting. It is finally here. I have been talking to y'all and sending y'all emails and nagging. It's felt a little like nagging, but this is such an important meeting. This is the meeting where you get to have your voice heard, where you get to hear what's going on in the behind the scenes, the business aspects of Celebration Center. It's so important that if at all possible, you join us. This is going to be a hybrid meeting. So if you're here in the room, it's going to start at 12:30. So go down, grab yourself a sandwich, and come right back. If you're online, you're just going to switch from the StreamYard that you're currently, or from the stream that you're currently watching, switch over to Zoom. You can do that by going to celebrationcenter.org and clicking on Enter Zoom Events. We are going to be reorganizing some of our bylaws. We have people to bring onto the leadership council. We have the budget to approve, so many things. So please, please make sure you're here, especially if you're one of those voting members of our congregation. Next, starting tomorrow, my announcements are not pulling up on my iPad, so we are just going to wing it this morning. Starting tomorrow is the Soul Evolution Collaborative Summit. And this summit, y'all, is going to be amazing. It is going to feature speakers from all over the globe, including our spiritual leader of our organization, Reverend Dr. Edward Vilhune. This event is every evening this week from 7 to 9. And if you use our code, which you can scan right here, or you can go to celebrationcenter.org and scroll down to upcoming events and register there, then not only does Soul Evolution Collaborative get a portion of that, but we also get a portion of that. So you're really supporting two amazing communities, and you're getting lots of really cool content as well. If you can't make one of the evenings, that's okay. It's all going to be recorded, and you can watch later. Next, we have, starting on November 23rd, we have our grief support group. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. So, if you have not signed up already, we have almost filled up on those slots. There are only a couple of spots left for this grief support group. So I invite you to go on, register today, make sure you get signed up. It's going to begin Wednesday, November 23rd, and run for 6 weeks on Wednesday evenings from 6:30 to 8. This is for anyone. If you have an acute grief process that you're going through, that you have lost somebody or something recently, if you have unprocessed grief from the past that you want to look at and work through from a spiritual sort of framework, if you just have the winter blues, if the holidays are hard for you, anything like that, I invite you to go on and sign up for this. It will be offered as a hybrid program, so you can either come here to the center or join us on Zoom. And once again, spots are filling up quick for that. Next, we have, speaking of the holidays can be hard, we are partnering once again with Unity of Fairfax to offer a Blue Christmas service. I know that y'all did that a couple years ago before I was here, and that it was really successful. And so this is just an opportunity for us to come together and acknowledge that, yes, the holidays are filled with joy and cheer, but also they can be filled with grief and sadness or heartache, or just be a challenging time of year for some people, or even sometimes. Sometimes you might be cheerful, sometimes you might be, your heart might be aching. And so that is going to be Tuesday, December 6th at 7 p.m. at Unity of Fairfax, and also streamed online at Unity of Fairfax's website and Celebration Center's website. Next, we have Ernest on a Shelf. Ernest on a Shelf, y'all. So this is going to be 25 days of laughter and inspiration coming to your inbox. Now, this is not going through our announcements or our regular email list, so you have to sign up special to receive these emails. And the reason we're doing that is because we don't want to bombard you with silly emails if that's not what you want. But trust me when I say it's what you want. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited about it. So you can either scan this code to go ahead and sign up to get those daily emails, or you can go to celebrationcenter.org and sign up there as well. What else is up there for us, Ivor? Since my tablet decided to stop working. Anything else? Okay, fantastic. Well, in that case, I'm going to know that that's all the announcements. The most important thing is that you plan to join us today at 12:30 for our annual meeting. And with that, I invite Lynn Hollyfield up to open us in a song.
So much. Good morning. Please sing with me. We're going to do this beautiful song by Peter Mayer, The Blue Boat Home. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my Never harbor nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun my sail and moon my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, oh, we kindred loving souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, have the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. And the earth is my blue boat home.
Thank you, Lynn. That was absolutely wonderful. Good morning. Good morning, Celebration Center and friends. My name is Irina Kurashevich, and I'm practitioner at the center. And I invite you to enter our sacred time together. And let's just start with a 3-part breath. If you're comfortable, close your eyes and feel the support of your chair, your back. Your feet are supported by the floor. And as we breathe together, we are remembering our oneness, synchronizing together as the beloved community that spans across the globe and recognizing the unique gift we each bring. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, breathe in, hold, breathe out, breathe in, hold, and breathe out. And from this place of oneness, let's say our vision. We are celebrating spirit within, knowing the oneness of humanity. And today my reading is from Ernest Holmes, the founder of our philosophy. He says, "Wake up. Your word is all-powerful. Your consciousness is one with omnipotence. Your thought is infinite. Your destiny is eternal. And your home is everlasting heaven. Realize the truth." And let's affirm our truth in prayer. And I know I know the truth, the spiritual truth of the universe. And that truth is that God is. The universe is. And I know that God is equally present everywhere. Everywhere, even in the places where it doesn't look like God is there. And I know that God is love, God is peace, God is joy, God is harmony. God is nature, God is water, God is music, God is laughter. And I know that there is everything and everyone is absolutely filled with the power of the universe, with the love of God. And I know that I am one and inseparable from this divine power, divine love, divine joy. And from recognizing my oneness, it is so easy to know that everyone and everything is one and inseparable from the divine. All is God and all is good. The divine good, universal good. And I declare the truth of God for everyone who is present here right now, online, offline, for everyone who is going to watch us later, or maybe will never watch this service. I know that God is within. And I declare perfect and radiant health, joyful relationship, luxury compensation, and employment that demands to express all the skills and talents for everyone here. I declare peace. I declare abundance. I declare joy, smiles, children's laughter. I declare unity within every nation and between the nations in the world. I declare the acceptance of seeing God in every person, in every animal, in every plant, just recognizing the truth of being the essence of life. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to know the truth and to feel it and to live it. And I'm so grateful to know that there is only one life. And from this deep, deep gratitude that sets me free, I release my words into the law, knowing that they're already done in the perfect mind of God. And it's mine to peacefully and joyfully surrender. And I do it with gratitude, with the words, and so it is.
I'm going to share a song. This is by Phillips, called Home. Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. Although this wave is stringing us along, you know you're not alone. We're gonna make this place our home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. If trouble might drag you down, if you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. We're gonna make this place our home. Ooh. demons, they fill you with fear. The trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. You're gonna make this place your home. No, you're not alone. Make this place your home.
Oh, thank you. I love Mumford and Sons, who that song is by. So thank you so much, Lynn, for bringing that in. Oh, so home. Y'all, this is a really big topic. I was like, home, how are we going to spend 4 weeks talking about home? And then I got to thinking about all of the different like facets and aspects and pieces and this idea of home and how it's a huge topic, huge. So we're gonna dive in ever so slightly. And so I want to begin with an Ernest quote. And so I'm going to have Ivor put that up for us. And Ernest Holmes, our founder, says, all our reactions to life are related to our spiritual convictions. We cannot escape this. Just as a child needs to have confidence in their parents, so we all need the same confidence in the power that is greater than we are. All our reactions are related to our spiritual convictions. And the more that I think about that, the more that I realize that our spiritual convictions, our belief systems, are implanted in us as children in our homes. And so for some of us, that might be great. We had amazing parents. We had the best upbringing ever. All was well. It was idyllic. Everything was perfect. Did anybody have an absolutely perfect childhood? Did you? You had an absolutely perfect childhood. All right, well, we have one. One out of all of us had an absolutely perfect childhood. But I know for me, as I grew up, and I didn't know any better, and I had a good childhood, right? I had good things happen. My parents loved me. Not everybody can say that, but for myself. And yet, because I was a child looking with a child brain through child eyes, things that were happening in the world, especially things that we might have seen our parents do that we couldn't understand because they were adults and we were children, I have formed some wrong beliefs about the world from my childhood, from this idea of home. And so I think for myself that this has that those wrong beliefs then inform and direct what my idea of home is. And so the first place that we get to go is we get to look at what do I believe about home? And that is a different answer than what do I think home should be? Right? Because what I believe about home might be subconscious. If we were abused as children, we learn that home is not a safe place. We learn that we can't trust home to be a place where people unconditionally love us, right? And yet, this idea of home, this sort of spiritual higher understanding of home that we're talking about, home should be a place that we can go and know that we're going to be loved and know that we're going to be unconditionally supported and know that we're going to be safe. And so as you can see, it starts to get a little muddy, right? Because our subconscious beliefs might not align with this spiritual understanding of what home should be. Should. I keep using that word should. Y'all know how I don't like that word should. But everybody's home, you get to decide for yourself, what is home to me? So the first thing that I want to do today is I want you to think about, just take like 15 seconds. It's not going to be a long pause. What do you believe about home? What do you think that home should be for you? Is home a place where you feel comfortable? Is home a place where you feel safe? Is home where your animals are? Is home where your loved ones are? Is home that sort of base where you can return to after a long, hard day? What is home to you? Just like 15 seconds thinking about that sort of idealized version of home to you. That place, for me, it's that place where my spirit just goes, and I can just relax. I can be authentically myself, whether that authentically myself is grumpy or joyful, or sad or happy. It's that place where I can just be my total self. And now think about, has that place that you're picturing right now, has that always been your experience of home? Has that sort of home base that you've connected to this idea of home, has it always been that? And the answer is probably no. I know that, not so much for me, but I know for my spouse that when they come home to a messy house, that is not their ideal version of a place where they can fully just relax and let everything go. Or, so it could be as small as that. When you come home to a pile of dirty dishes in the sink, it's like, oh, okay, there's stuff to do, right? And that's okay. It's okay if these two things don't line up. I'm just kind of bringing awareness to this idea that we have this idea of home that might not actually be aligning with the way that home is showing up in our reality. That's okay. It's okay, right? Because we're all just spiritual beings having a human experience. And so part of this human experience is realizing that these two things might not line up, and we get to work on it. We get to practice. We get to become clear and intentional and conscious about what does home mean to me? Because the more intentional that I can be about what home is to me, what I want in home, the more that I can begin to create that in my external reality. If you're coming home every day to a pile of dishes in the sink and that doesn't work for you, then you can work on it. But it's that unconscious, unintentional living where we come home every day to the pile of dishes and sink and we aren't aware that that's making us grumpy every evening. And so then we just sit in front of the TV grumpy, and all we need to do is go, oh, home to me is a place where I can come home and just relax and I don't have to worry about the dishes. And so I set intentions. I do the dishes every morning, or I talk to my spouse. I know, I don't know why dishes are the thing today, because our sink is usually pretty empty, but it's interesting because for Ryan, when we first moved in together, for Ryan, they like to go to bed with everything cleaned up and picked up, because for them, waking up to a clean house is the thing. For me, leaving the house in the morning and having it be able to come home to it being clean was the thing. And so I would pile all the dishes in the sink, leave them overnight, and then the next morning, part of my morning routine was like getting up, making coffee, and putting the dishes in the dishwasher and starting it before I went to work and things like that. So there were a few little, not arguments, but there were just a few little back and forths about dishes until we figured out a way that would work for both of us. Because we both deserve to have our home be the thing that we want it to be. But how many times, how many people do we know are still arguing with their spouse 20 years later about the dishes? Because there's a unconsciousness there, that instead of taking the time and being like, oh, I see. For you, it's important to wake up to an empty sink. For me, it's important to come home to an empty sink. Those two things don't line up, so how can we make them work? So for us, I empty the dishwasher. We both load the dishwasher throughout the day, or they load the dishwasher at night and start it, and I empty the dishwasher in the morning, so then it's ready for more dishes to be put in. And that's what we do, and it works for us, right? But it's all about that intentionality. Y'all, the more and more work that I do, the more I'm like, oh, it's all about intentionality. It's all about becoming conscious of why we're doing the things that we're doing, and then shifting to put into alignment, what do I want with what am I doing? And that to me is all about home. That to me is what I want home to be. I want home to be the place where I am intentional about the way that I am living. And I am intentional about the space that I'm creating for myself. Are y'all with me so far? I promise I'll move on from dishes now. So, today we're talking about roots and wings. And so we have this idea, the reason that I kind of brought up childhood is because we have this idea in our society. We talk a lot about we have to give children roots in the home, right? We have to create these traditions and give them these values so that then they can spread their wings and fly, right? And so I started thinking about this idea of home as a place where we have both roots and wings simultaneously. And I actually have a tattoo that represents this. I'll show it to you after if you want to see it. It's on my calf. It's not it's not in a weird spot. That sounded really funny. But it's a tree. It's a tree of life, and it has a goddess figure in it, and it has those roots, and then it has these very elaborate leaves. I have an amazing tattoo artist, right? And to me, what it reminds me of is that I have to be grounded to fully be able to spread my wings, to fully be able to blossom and bloom. Because for me, because I did not have the most idyllic childhood, I didn't want anything to do with my roots. I wanted to just throw the roots away. I'm an Enneagram 7 for anybody who knows what that means. I am all about fun and going out and partying and doing whatever. Not so much anymore. Now I'm like, oh, it's 8 p.m. and you want to start a movie? What? But back in the day, it was all about what's the next thing, always seeking, always pushing forward, always looking ahead. And always coming home to a really messy house where I wasn't doing messy in every aspect, internally, externally. I wasn't doing my spiritual practice. I wasn't grounding myself. I wasn't rooting myself. And so I was constantly sort of trying to fly and then flopping to the ground, right? Because I didn't have those roots to ground me. And so both of those things are important. If we spend so long growing our roots down and planting ourselves, then we never get a chance to fully blossom. So both of these things are so important. And so I started to look at what does home mean, where a home has balanced roots and balanced wings, where we have the ability to grow down into our own depths, to stay so grounded, and also to fully blossom, to fully fly, to fully fulfill all that is meant for us to fulfill, all that we want to fulfill in this life. And so what do roots look like? What do roots look like? And I have a slide for it. So for me, roots in a home looks like respect. It looks like everybody in the home respecting and honoring one another, seeing each other for their unique perspectives, for their values, for allowing one another to show up authentically. It looks like safety and security. It looks like being able to come home to this place where we know that we're going to be safe, that we can kick off our shoes and relax. And maybe, like I said, not everybody has this home, like a physical space they can go to. So when you're thinking about this idea, think about all of the different ways that homes show up. It shows up with the people that you love, that you spend the most time with. That's your home. Your physical body. Do you feel safe and secure in your physical body? It's the place where you lay your head down at night. Do you feel safe and secure in your space? Do you have the things that you need? All of these areas are home. It looks like belonging. And y'all know we've talked a fair amount about this idea of belonging versus fitting in, right? And fitting in, we have to kind of box ourselves off and cut off corners and edges to make ourselves fit, whereas belonging is taking all of my messy, whole, nebulous parts and bringing them to a space where other people have brought their whole, messy, nebulous parts, and we belong together. We make room for one another. Do you belong? Do you belong in your own body? Do you belong in your home, with your family, with your pets, with your community? Unconditional love. Now, I know for me, I had a lot of experiences in my childhood of conditional love, of this sort of, I'm going to love you if you get the right grades, if you do the right things, if you show up in the right way, if you act with the values that I tell you to act with. And yet, home, this idea of home is unconditional love. Do you love yourself and your body unconditionally, even when you eat too many cookies, even when your body is in pain, even when it's not working out right? Do you love your home even when the dishes are piled up? Do you love your family even when your children don't make the grade, or your spouse and you are having an argument, or things aren't going the way that you want? Is there unconditional love? Roots also mean boundaries. Y'all, boundaries. I'm going to have you pull it down because I want to talk for a second about boundaries. So I have another question for you. How many people are you just naturally so amazing at setting boundaries? It comes super easily to you. You have no problem setting boundaries and then holding boundaries. You know exactly what boundaries to set and exactly what boundaries to let go. Anybody like super, super really good at that? I know, right? Boundaries are a thing. And so home is that place where not only can we set boundaries and expect them to be kept and met with love, but where we can also test our boundaries, not as in I'm testing your boundaries because you've set one up and I don't agree with it, but we can test our own boundaries. We can set a boundary that's maybe way back here, and then we can realize, wait, I don't need that firm of a boundary. I can loosen this a little bit because I know that you're going to respect me. I know that you're showing up in a way that allows me to honor myself. I can't remember who said it. I'm going to find it because I really want to quote this person. But the quote is, boundaries are the place at which are the distance at which I can love you and me simultaneously. Boundaries are the distance at which I can love you and me simultaneously. And so, I think a good example, and y'all, the hardest part of keeping this boundary for me is me. But as you know, on my email signature, and you can email me just to see my email signature if you want, revchris@celebrationcenter.org. It says at the bottom, Mondays are my content and contemplation day. I probably won't respond to you unless it's an emergency. I definitely don't respond on Fridays because it's my Sabbath unless it's an emergency. And here's what you can expect from me. I'm going to respond to your emails between Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday, right? So we're all very clear. And I do that not because I need space from y'all. It's because I love you enough to know that I'm an introvert and I need time to myself, and I like to go out in the woods, and I like to watch Netflix, and I like to do whatever it is that I'm going to do. And so that is the place, having a day that's set aside for me, having a day that's set aside just for content creation. I know that that's what I need to love you and me to our absolute fullest, to unconditionally show up for us. So boundaries are in this home space, or this place where, yes, I can set boundaries, and you and I love each other enough that we can shift and move our boundaries, that they can be this flowing, fluctuating, flexible thing as we learn and grow together. And then finally, the last one is Sorry, Ivor, I threw you off. Supports. So I feel like we've kind of hit this one, right? That home is that place where we are supported no matter what. Home is that place where we can have the worst day ever and we can come home and somebody's going to hold us and be like, man, that sucks. It sounds like it was a really hard day. How can I support you? What do you need from me? What does support look like for you in this moment? And so home is all of these things, all of these roots. And then when we have that, we can then spread our wings and fly. And so what do wings look like? Let's look. Wings look like being able to flex our curiosity muscle. Y'all, I keep telling you, curiosity is our spiritual superpower. And when we feel grounded and when we feel safe, all of a sudden we can be curious. We can explore. We can leap off. Home becomes that trampoline where all of a sudden the world is our oyster. It means we can be wildly creative. I create a lot of things at home that y'all will never see because they are not any good. But that's okay because it's me flexing my creativity muscles. Your wings are your self-expression. It means that you get to show up authentically, wholly, beautifully yourself. And you can explore what it means to be you. You can explore who you are in the world. What is yours to do? Exploration. That once again, that curiosity allows you to bound off. That the deeper our roots are, the further we can fly from home and trust that we will always be held, always protected, always safe. We have the freedom to go where we want to go, to do what we want to do, to have what we want to have, to fulfill our life's purpose here. And finally, all of those things mean that we are self-realized, self-actualized beings. And all of this, you can take it down now, Ivor, all of this begins at home. And so as you can see, this idea of home is so much more than just the place that you go at night, or even just being in your body or your community or any of that. It's all of this, and it really is the starting point, the beginning, the essence of what we're able to do in the world, how we show up, our values, our expression, our creativity, our boundaries, our authenticity, our belonging, all of it begins at home. And so I invite you to just close your eyes with me. And I invite you, the first place that we get to feel at home is in ourselves, within our own physical bodies and our own minds. And so in this moment, if you have been withholding love from yourself, I invite you, for any reason, perhaps your body doesn't look right, or perhaps you didn't do the right thing, or you made the wrong decision, or you judging yourself, or any of those things, what are right and wrong anyways, I invite you to set all that down and just allow yourself to become home for yourself. What does unconditional love within your mind, body, and soul feel like? I invite you to ground yourself down into your own belonging, your own authenticity. To fully accept and support yourself no matter what. To let go of these ideas of perfection that we may have, and just allow yourself to be your messy, spiritual, human, authentic, whole, incomplete and whole, all at the same time, paradoxical, brilliant, beautiful self. That is what is called of you in this moment. And this feeling, this idea of home can begin right here and right now. And so as you feel and experience home, this place is the place that we open up and know and remember the truth of our own divinity, the truth that there is God and nothing else, that this thing that we call God is so infinite, so absolute, and so eternal that we can only catch glimpses of it in ourselves. And so we just simply open up to the truth that we are this thing, this infinite, absolute, eternal thing showing up as individualized expressions, these amazing divine human beings having a spiritual experience and spiritual beings having a human experience, all wrapped up and rolled up into the beautiful paradox that it is. And so I know and affirm that each and every one of us are coming into alignment, into wholeness, that our beliefs about home, our ideas about home, and our actuality that we are living in our home are all coming into full fruition and alignments. That home truly is this place where we can show up and just be ourselves, ground ourselves down, and then brilliantly fly forward. Fully, wholly, totally on purpose. And so I am so grateful. I am grateful for this amazing community that I call home. I am grateful for this beloved celebration center that is home to so many amazing people, and that we all get to show up and experience home together, being loved unconditionally by one another and loving unconditionally one another. And so I simply release my word. I let it go. I know it is done as I have spoken, and so it is.
So I'm going to do another song called Home. This is by Carla Bonoff. Hang on just a sec. Much better. Traveling at night, the headlights were bright, and we many an hour. And all through my brain came the refrain of home and its warming fire. And home sings me such sweet things. My life there has its own wings. Fly over the mountain, though I'm standing still. The people I've seen, they come in between the cities of tiring life. The trains come and go, but inside you know the struggle will soon be a fight. And home sings me such sweet things. My life there has its own wings. Fly over the mountain, though I'm standing still. Traveling at night, the headlights were bright, but soon the sun came through the trees. Around the next bend, the flowers will send the sweet smell of home in the breeze. And home sings me such sweet things. My life there has its own wings. Fly over the mountain, though I'm standing still. Ooh.
Thank you, Lynn. So this is the time in our service for our gifts and our offerings. And I know one of the reasons that I give to this center is because it feels like home to me. And so I invite you, there are several different ways that you can give. If you're here in the room, we have a table right over there. We also accept checks, and our address is on our website. Or if you go to celebrationcenter.org and click on the Give button, or scan the QR code, or visit celebrationcenter.org and click on /donate, all of those things will take you to our Secure Breeze website where you are able to give. And now I invite Irina up for a blessing and the affirmation.
Thank you, Reverend Chris. That feels like home support. Take a deep breath and read with enthusiasm. This gift I give is God in action. I give it in joy. I give it in love. I give it in faith. I give it knowing that I am blessed, and so I'm gratefully give. And I know that everyone who gives it from joy, from love, from abundance, from prosperity. And this finances, talents, skills, support goes in the universe, shifts the energy, and come back to the giving hand, to the giving heart, multiplied abundantly. And with a deep, deep gratitude on behalf of myself and the Celebration Center, I simply say, and so it is.
Join me in this last song, I'm Home, by Daniel Nahmad. Wherever I am, I'm home. Even when I'm wandering this world alone, it doesn't matter where I go, oh no, wherever I am, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home. Wherever I am, I'm home. Even when I'm wandering this world, I'm never alone. It doesn't matter where I go, oh no, no matter where I am, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
And now I invite you to repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. I am guided by wisdom. I am surrounded by joy. I am loving. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. And so it is. Surprise, it's me again. Y'all come back for the annual meeting at 12:30. That's in 33 minutes. Join us on Zoom, celebrationcenter.org, and click on Enter Zoom Events. I look forward to seeing you there.